harness is not working. I believe. Didn't you tell me that?
Yeah. I'm no expert, but it doesn't feel like it.
No, I established the framework, so it's not as usual, it's not the same. Courtesy of the Vice West
On both these.
Jeff, you can pull a chair. You know. No, you know.
You used to be in the order.
That's what I was gonna say.
What about the heat, bud?
Yeah.
Is it working?
I don't know. It's gonna get a chair. Bob, you can pull a chair too.
We don't need heat, do we, Kevin? Well, we've been standing out in all day. Well, okay.
This meeting is coming to order. We will stand. Mark, you're up to the pledge. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Okay, Sharon, you can show that our board members are present and floor. Agenda is on the table over there for anyone who wants copies of the standard agenda. First item of business is we're going to, at the last meeting we did it, we're going to do it again this meeting since our new member didn't get a chance to vote. We'll elect the president.
One I made the well know.
Is there a second? I second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Sharon, minutes from December meeting. Everybody had a chance to read those. Any additions or corrections? If not, the minutes will stand approved as submitted. Okay. Financials. Now, Mark, you need to sign them.
Oh,
You're
okay.
right.
No, you can't for last year.
Okay, well, just, okay, pass.
Okay. Sharon, let's see, approval of your financials. You have a fund report
Yes.
and revenue report.
On the appropriation, I gave each one of you a appropriation report that was before and after I did the negative balance transfers.
Okay, is this before or after, second balance the December bank statement?
No.
Okay, any questions? First of all, we'll deal with fund report. Any questions on the fund report from any members? Any questions, Mr. Abbott, Mr. Sessom, Anderson, Smith? Okay, we'll accept the fund report and the revenue report. Everybody see that? And then December revenue. You got all the rest of the grant money in as well, correct?
All
So we're all done, correct? Any questions on the revenue report? Okay, now the two appropriation reports. She has the one before and the one after, so we'll look at the resolution she has, 2014-1. I think you mean 2015-1. That's okay, I did the same thing. I've done it 3 or 4 times today. But that's okay. This is a resolution to transfer funds within the department. And it makes everything balance out for the year. Is there any questions on this resolution? Is there a motion to accept?
Make a motion to accept resolution 2015-1.
Is there a second? I'll second. Thank you.
And I guess that.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Did you have one? Oh, okay.
You didn't elect a president yet?
Yeah, we did that first.
Well,
I was wondering
I'm
if
sorry.
you were on.
Check it again, sorry. It was really fast.
It's cold in here. We're going home. I haven't seen minutes over there. Okay, so this resolution and your appropriation reports dealt with, pay file.
And docket, we're talking about the docket.
We're on pay file right now.
The payroll.
Pay file employee list, yeah.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions on the payroll pay file employee list? 12-2 to 1-2.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to accept payroll?
Make a motion to accept payroll.
Is there a second? I'll second. Okay. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, that passed. Accounts payable register. Let's see, I think that's claims.
I'm still looking.
Okay, approval of claims.
Okay. Do you have any
Okay.
questions about those? I brought the claims.
I had one question, obviously, always have a question. I noticed have you mailed that check yet?
No.
Okay. I think that's something that we probably should discuss as a council. On the second page, it's $1,030 I have used for the year, and it's not something that we have, that we have to join. We can, if we don't join, we can still participate in the webinars and the seminars and all that. We just pay $9 in the price to
Indian Association, cities and towns.
cities and towns.
Is there an advantage of paying it?
I don't know that any of us take advantage of it. I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
I'll look at it.
Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but I mean, it's something that we could save $1,000 and, but you walk, you don't miss that little magazine. I think we can save Okay, so, monitoring from the council is it?
Don't you all also get the elected officials handbook?
That
every
is,
year?
no,
Who does
they
that
only
come from?
do that, it comes from them, but
Right.
they only do that.
At your, during your term?
They do that, no, they do it at the end of the municipal election, they have a seminar. So this 15th in the municipal election year, so 2016 January, they'll have their big convention and all that. So if we wanted to, we could rejoin.
Well, we probably could get those anyway.
I know.
And I didn't know whether you rely on it or not.
We do.
They are good.
They are very good.
Yeah, there are always plenty of them around.
They're very good, but they'll be revising that, they don't do it until the municipal
Okay.
election.
I'll make a motion to renew by that.
Save $1,000?
I'll second that. Okay, so
We're not going to do the IAC to save that $1,000. And, I think that, I didn't look, I was working on some other things, and I didn't look at this as much as I normally do. I have to apologize. Are there any, back to water. Wastewater. This just picks up from what we did.
Yeah, it was just a few days.
Yeah. Okay, is there a motion to set claims, approve claims?
Make a motion to approve claims.
Okay, is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Okay. Okay. May I see, you have a adjustment or two to talk about?
Yes.
Sharon, do you all council ever signed the claims docket?
Yes, they all should,
So Mark will sign this.
yes.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't get these to you guys ahead of time, and I apologize.
It's okay. this is a continuation between the last and
Yes.
the last one?
Yeah, apparently the leak had gone on longer than, before she was found aware of it. So she asked if she could get an additional adjustment. You guys approved one for her last month.
You guys are with Carolyn Adams. Across the street here,
I'm sorry.
Carolyn Adams. The credit on her sewer for the leak was on us, or the leak was not detected or whatever.
That's very possible.
That's what Heather Shop's working on, right?
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
that's very possible.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we adjust her bill.
Okay, second? Okay, all in favor, say aye. What's your next one?
Okay.
Is there a separate one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Do you guys know what good is, Mr. Fair Guy?
You can fix it. You don't have to fix it,
No, seriously, are you having, did you say anybody look at the furnace?
No, I didn't know anything wrong with it. They had to start talking about it.
Did you just tell me the heat? Something wrong with the heat?
Well, they told me that whenever I walked in.
Oh, okay.
It might just be cold.
So you were just
You
repeating.
get some more people in here and then it started warming up.
It seems really.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
not-
lot colder now than it was on.
It's 62 degrees in here, it ain't bad.
Heat wave. Okay.
It's high efficiency.
Becky
Really, it's now, it's real high efficiency.
and Hamilton, adjustment of $14.42. Is there a motion to give Betty Ann's adjustment, $14.42?
Make a motion that we adjust her bill.
I'll second it. All those in favor say aye. Okay. Any more?
Okay, this last one, we don't need approval for. It was, somebody came in and said they had a leak, and I had to fill out the application. And then when I went to look over it, I realized she didn't even live in town, so we don't charge her for sewer. So I sent her a letter apologizing for my mistake. And I just wanted to let you guys aware of it.
Because they're not connected to sewer.
Yeah, they live
Okay,
like
so
in
she-
the buffer zone. So I just wanted you to be aware that I didn't dismiss her application. So it was just a mistake.
Very good. Any other adjustments? That's it. Okay, Mr. Downey.
Really don't have much to say today, so I didn't get anything together, but thinking, or talking off my head, since the last meeting, I can't remember, we had a service leak on Middle Street, and since holidays had one that's service leak that serviced 3 houses north of town here in a field. Today was the day when we had Evelyn addition, we did have a block main waste water line. We jetted it, got it open. Then we had a block water line on East Washington Street, on block wastewater line on East Washington Street. We jetted it. And then didn't get anywhere, so then Friday we had fluid systems come in out of Minneapolis with hydrovac and a cutter and had them cut it, and they didn't get any further than we did. But while we have them down here, we also have reviewed the Evelyn division because there was a couple of trouble spots in it, and there still is one that we think we're going to have to contend with later on. There's no blockage right now, per se, if anybody's complaining about it. It appears through the manholes, everything's running good, but there's some kind of something that's blocking
guess that's how I was supposed to do it.
What Whistler was doing? No, they just, Whistler got copies of the plans for the new structure, and they didn't know that the measurements were quite where they should be, so they come out and measure. And it ended up being, they were 3 or 4 inches off, which just means the new structure will stick up another 3 inches probably, from what they were thinking, but it doesn't affect really anything, just a little bit taller.
Okay.
So we got our plows on.
The plows are on, we saw that, okay.
Plows, plural.
What do you think we need to solve this one, fire and get?
Yeah. Yes, for now.
A couple of, plural, a couple of things, Mr. Downey. First of all, didn't hear back from the grants, and the first initial date hasn't been set yet, but it'll probably be around the end of March for that, but we'll be working on that. The other thing is, I realize it's a new year, and probably at some point we need to think about whether or not we're gonna do the biochem again. You know what I mean? So we can start thinking about that. I want to pass this along. This is from Mark Seaston. Just wanted to pass along to you and the other council members how much we appreciate all the hard work Bob and Jeff did to get our sewer problem fixed. When they found out the problem was on the town side and not on us, they went to work to get the problem fixed. He called me and he told me that, and then he also sent it. Okay? Yeah. He was very appreciative.
This Caleb, he actually helped us last year. He helped us, he was our third man.
He directed traffic.
No, I had traffic.
I'm teasing. I'm teasing. Okay.
One thing on that, on the biochem, real quick,
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago, I don't remember when it was, before Christmas, the week of Christmas, I was just kind of, I was out there for weekends, and I was working on getting cattails out, and there is a huge difference in the water clarity. You know, I don't know if it's the pumps, the biochem, both of them together. I didn't notice it the first, I spent 2 days out there digging cattails. The second day when I went out there, I could actually see through the water and see down where I had dug the roots of the cattails up. You have not been able to do that before, so what you guys approved is working. Yeah, I swam in it for a little bit.
Okay, Mr. Marvin, you have anything for DPW? Okay, Marvin, you're up.
Okay, in your package you'll find that I did include, along with December's monthly report, November's, due to the timing of when we had our town meeting, I wasn't able to finish that report, so that's in there as well. My last report, the basic total calls last month was 27, down from 31, 20 in Morgantown, and 7 Jackson Township. County put 6 calls for us. Citations. Total citations 11, 6 were ordinance, 5 state statutes, 27 warnings were issued. So they hit the streets. Total calls 2014 versus 13 are down, 75 calls. And that's really all I have. Do you
Well,
have any questions for me?
back here on about the 4th page, did you guys see this one? I like this report. Did you see this one? And it looks like on the reserves, you're 16 hours.
Yes.
That's very good. That's very good.
And
That's
one I'm actually over.
improvement. Yeah.
Definite improvement.
That's an improvement. And then also, I see where they're doing their warnings and citations. Okay. Did you see this report? Remember we kind of made this a couple of months ago. It's a new report. So it gives you per week, each officer, how many hours they worked, how many miles they drove, how many were personal, and how many were how many calls they took, how many were in town, how many out of town, how many citations they wrote, and how many ordinance violations, and how many state statutes. So you can see from that.
You got some great laws
Mr.
too.
Swank's a big guy.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
my best job. Markable uniform, if you will. Yeah, so in other words, if I'm off duty, I can't use that for make clowns. There's pros and cons to that. So,
Well, and Mark, do you have any other questions?
No.
Okay.
I like the.
Yeah, I'm working on a compilation of last year's in-town activity, and I think you'll find it very interesting. Up through, I think, September 7th or September 8th, anyway. I think you'll find it very interesting. And we can sort that, I'll get with you, we can sort it by time, by day, by address, by, type of call and all that. So I think you'll be surprised. I think you'll be surprised at just a couple of streets that, maybe a little more presence might make a big difference. So,
yeah, I'm working a lot closer. I've established a real good relationship with Pitcher, Marty Fluke, and Joyce Carpenter. Those three mainly. And working with the landlords to run some people before they actually move in. And that's worked out great.
Okay, I think that's a great idea. Okay, I didn't have any old business. Anybody have any old business?
Our street signs are close to being ready to put up.
No. We're hoping, which of course Joel was instrumental on that, on getting Duke to do that, and then when the street signs come in, I didn't get all the locates done, which is my fault, and then,
Oh, that's
if we end up having to do it, it's gonna have to be an ordinance, because we gotta do locates on every single spot, so we can only, locate so much of the town, and then hope nothing comes in between this or that. Or maybe if we get with that new guy, when it gets spring, truthfully, I know we got him sitting there, but
I forgot.
then they can knock them out in a day or two, but no, that we're not anywhere close to doing that yet. Unfortunately, I agree with that in there. That's where we're at.
Thank you.
Once you start on it, it won't take too long.
Well, they have to do it, but like you said, they have to do a locate on every one of them. That's
That's not that many locations.
No.
The one was on the phone, it's going to be the same, basically everything the same except for the crossroads. And all the information is the same except for the only thing that changes is where each one actually is. But you're not going to have to go through every question she has, because your county's the same, your town's the same,
Oh, no, not that, but I'm just saying if we get, we're just gonna, if we do it ourselves, we're just gonna have to do it in sections, just because of the simple fact that the time frame of the locates when they expire.
Oh, right, you got 2 weeks to get them.
Yeah, and if, we get a water leak here, water leak there, or snow, or something like that, then
Right.
we're gonna have to go back to that.
I
Yeah,
thought you meant just the time it takes to call one in.
no, you do have to rattle off, you won't have to say township or town or that. Yeah, they won't bring up the grid and just mark every street, you gotta verbally tell them, yeah, no, that wasn't, no, not,
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
2 weeks to get all the
right, yeah.
okay. Did anybody have any old business? Other than that, that's pretty good. Okay, well,
Yeah, one more. What about the one fire hydrant? Is it ever, what's the deal? The one is, I know that's the wrong time of year.
We had actually, talked about that right before you got here, we were talking about that other issue, but we'll wait to see what, I was trying to hold off, obviously this isn't the time of year, but trying to see how this storm grant, which it affects Park Street, and trying to knock that storm grant out, because I know that's going to be part of it at the same time with using that storm grant money versus that, yeah.
oh, okay. Should we present your bond?
Yes, Lee has informed me that the clerk treasurer's bond is to be presented every year, and of course I didn't know that until he explained it to me. So tonight, would you pass this, made each one a copy to have to see. And you're supposed to vote to approve the bond, a $30,000 bond. And Lee thought that possibly that if you voted to approve it, then not have everyone sign it, just Joel.
Yeah, the thing that I understand, if we do get all this funding that we're going to be applying for, we'll have to be increased. Because that, I think it's $1 million increments. per year.
30,000 for each 1 million
Per million
receipts.
receipts per year, so, and if we do get all of that this year, we would go over this again. But that's, hopefully that'll work. Okay, is there a motion to accept the bond?
Make a motion to accept the bond.
Is there a second? I'll second. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Here is the original bond, and which one of these should she sign?
Okay, this is okay.
That's the recorder. I think
There may not be this.
that there isn't a lot. I think it would just be a matter of, I think you could just simply put approved. And, well, no, here it is, accepted the 17th of December. Yeah, that is the same form that I've seen before. I think you can sign on this line. If I
Sign right
accept
here.
any one of those 4
Oh,
lines.
okay.
And then you'll-
It's $100
Okay.
for the year.
Then you'll record it with the county recorder.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
There you go.
And that'll do it.
That'll do it. Very good.
Did I end up with somebody's
Those are extra
There's
copies.
extra
copies.
Okay. The next item I have on my list, Planning and Zoning Commission. We need to replace a couple of those, and I have this, talk with all the members. From the buffer zone, Norman and Russ are going to continue, and their term expires at the end of this year. At large, Chanda is going to, this will be a new 21st, she expires 2018. Steve Rose is continuing, his expires at the end of this year, 2015. Betty Jasper has accepted appointment, hers would expire 2018. And then I have another person that is supposed to let me know, I thought I would hear from them this evening, but I'll know on the next meeting. So, the council, Walter, did you want to stay on planning and zoning? Sure. And Jeff, are you willing to stay on? Okay, we need another council member to serve on planning and zoning.
Just a municipal appointment.
Municipal.
Doesn't necessarily have to be a
Yeah.
council member, but it can be.
Yeah, can be, that's right. That's what we've done in the past, too. Anybody want to volunteer? No. Okay. Okay, so you, Walter, and Jeff are the municipal appointees. Chanda, Steve Rose, Betty Jasper, Norman, Russ Ellis, and then the final one to be, named, and I'll have that on the next meeting. Yeah. Okay, the last thing we have is an ordinance.
Yeah. You don't have it. I have copies.
Okay, good, good. 'Cause I just printed one and I didn't.
And then, they want to go around there. Oh, there are 4 there.
I've got one, so.
There should be. Joel, I got to talk. You have talked with some of them about this, or did?
Well, kind of, but not,
This is born out of some conversations that,
well, let me preface it.
Okay.
When we had the garage ball over here, and it became cumbersome for the unsafe building to get 9 planning and zoning members together, get a quorum, to get all that coordinated. And we've had a couple of other type situations like that that have come up, and it's just a cumbersome thing. And you've been attending the planning and zoning meetings as well, and it's just, sometimes the unsafe building, most times the unsafe building needs to react a little bit quicker. And not necessarily monthly. And so in conversation, Lee told me that, well, it doesn't have to be under planning and zoning anyway. That it's a town council ordinance, and so.
Yeah, when the unsafe building law was adopted here in Morgantown, the planning commission was given the sort of oversight. It became what is called the hearing authority and would hear appeals, would consider arguments from property owners on whether the action that had been ordered by the enforcement authority, the zoning administrator, was appropriate or not. And those of you who have paid attention are aware of one case in particular, but several, where the planning commission was meeting every month and going over the same thing. And it really was sort of unwieldy, I thought, for 9 members of the planning commission to be attending to this case that I think really didn't require that much attention, but was very important and needed the attention of people who were really informed and watching it closely, and were in a position maybe to act more efficiently and more swiftly than what the planning commission could. And I think the other problem we have uniquely in Morgantown is with our area of extended jurisdiction, we have a 9-member planning commission where ordinarily in a town like this it would be 7. And the other problem we ran into, this is just a practical problem, but we have to have 5 people voting together for the planning commission to take any action. Whether there are 6 here or 9 here, we have to have 5 vote together, and we were having trouble getting quorums some of the time. The state statute defines the hearing authority, the body or the people who actually oversee this and make decisions, as a person, could be one person, or persons, plural, designated by the, in the case of the town legislative body. I wrote it, and I defaulted to the planning commission, like I have other places, because the planning commission was a committee that already existed. It does kind of make sense that the planning commission deals with land use and development, and unsafe building has to do with land use and development, and so it's sort of the same subject matter. And the way I've always viewed it in the past is the planning commission is a committee that's meeting regularly anyway. You know, they're meeting every month, so we're not trying to assemble a whole other group and try to schedule different meetings to get people together and make decisions, because you're all going to be there anyway, and you can take on this task in addition to the other stuff that the planning commission does. Well, in Morgantown, I don't know that the planning commission does need to meet every month. I mean, I don't know that we have planning and zoning issues once the ordinance was amended, and that was a longer, more tedious process than it should have been too. But once that got done, there isn't a need for the planning commission to be every month to do what planning commissions typically do. The planning commission's been meeting every month because it's been dealing with unsafe building issues. And there again, you're trying to get 9 people to show up, so we have a quorum of 5 to deal with a handful of properties that I don't think require the oversight of 9 people. And we really run into some obstacles because we've had times with quorums that we haven't had the requisite number of people there. And I think for some of the planning commission members, it has caused them to take on more than they want to take on. That, yeah, well, the planning commission needs to meet, I'll meet, but I've gotten into something that's taking more time and is a bigger production than what I had bargained for. So what I suggested to Joellen was, would you like to think about paring that down and just having a smaller committee? I suggested 3 people who would be the hearing authority for unsafe building matters, kind of like an unsafe building commission or something like that. And I suggested that those would be people who are somewhat knowledgeable about construction and building conditions, and are kind of well versed in the subject matter, that are willing to make a commitment to do it, that have the time to meet when need be, that maybe could meet on a more flexible schedule. if we need to move quickly on the property, or property wants to move quickly, or we think it's more equitable to meet sooner rather than once a month in order to deal with something, then you can assemble 3 people more easily than you can tonight. So the statute, again, doesn't require there to be a planning commission. That is not unusual. In larger cities like Greenwood, for example, they have a board of public works and safety that oversees unsafe building matters. There are some that have building commissions. There are some that just have hearing officers, just somebody who does that, just one person. And I'm somewhat disinclined to do that because that gives that one person maybe more authority than we want one person to have. Now, it's really simple, but then that one person really gets to sort of decide the fate of and impose obligations on property owners without any input or any buffering or any sort of check and balance that comes from having a committee as opposed to an individual. So what I prepared for you all to consider is an ordinance that amends the original ordinance that enacted an unsafe building law for Morgantown. That was back in 2012. It was 2012-01. It was right at the beginning of 2012. The town council adopted the unsafe building code and enacted local unsafe building law for Morgantown. That's the first time the town had it. We designated the zoning administrator at that point. I don't know that we knew for sure who that was going to be, but it turned out to be Dan Back, to be the enforcement authority, to go around and identify unsafe building properties and write orders directing the owners of the property to do certain things. Clean them up, tear them down, fix them, get a roof on them, secure them from critters and things, make them habitable. There's a whole list of different things that that person might do. And appointed the Planning Commission as the hearing authority for any of those orders that need to be challenged to be presented to the Planning Commission, for it to make decisions, listen to arguments, decide whether to change that order, enforce that order, rescind that order, whatever it might be. What this ordinance does, 2015-01, is amends that original ordinance to remove the Planning Commission as the hearing authority, so that it wouldn't serve in that function anymore. Instead, there would be a 3-member hearing authority. It would be essentially a 3-member committee that would step in the place of the Planning Commission and take over that function. And those 3 people would be appointed by you as well. I don't know who they'd be, but that's what this would just change the structure of it, take it away from the Planning Commission and create this 3-member commission. That commission would be the hearing authority under the statute with all of the same duties and responsibilities that the hearing authority as defined in the statute has. Previously would have been the Planning Commission. It does not require that the 3 persons have a particular political affiliation like you do with the Planning Commission. That it would be what I would hope the town council considered to be the 3 most qualified people who are willing to do it, to serve in that role. It provides that any action by the hearing authority would be valid upon the vote of any 2 members voting together at a duly called meeting. And if you were to do this, that committee would be subject to the open door law, just like the Planning Commission and the town council. They can't meet secretly. We'd have to notice the meetings. They'd be open to the public, and they would function just like the Planning Commission does now. It's just those of you who have been to some of these meetings. I mean, it's big and it's unwieldy with so many people, and I just think to streamline it and make it more manageable, and to have a group of people we can count on that will be there, and that the town council decides are really sort of specially qualified to be deciding these sorts of things. And I don't want to offend anybody on the Planning Commission now to suggest that somebody isn't. But surely all of you know there are some Planning Commission members who kind of get this stuff and have a and the folks who are gonna have these orders enforced, they're gonna be better served if we have sort of a little higher level of expertise and good common sense, and can act and meet when we need to, and I think, not that the planning commission hadn't done a good job, it's just, in my opinion, it's just too much. And we've had too many times when it's Thursday afternoon at 2 in the afternoon, and somebody's scrambling around counting heads to see, are we gonna have a quorum or not? And you got somebody who's got an order in hand that says their house is gonna be torn down in 10 days, and they wanna show up and talk to somebody, and we're not sure whether we can have a meeting, because we don't know whether we can get 5 or 9 people here. And I'd like for that issue not to be a problem. You know, I'd like to know that if we have a meeting, and these are important meetings to everybody, that we're going to have the requisite number of people there, and we can count on it, and that issue is going to go away. And it's just a better way to do business, I think. So, this 2015 one, y'all have it.
Dashed.
2015-2.
No, that was a resolution.
That was a resolution.
Okay, so this is the ordinance 2015-01, and it's amending 2012-12-01, removing the planning commission. First recital of this paragraph is just, makes reference to the law having been adopted, or local unsafe building law being adopted, that it appointed the planning commission. The town council has concluded that enforcement of the law would be better and more efficiently supervised by a smaller board, consists of 3 members. It states under Indiana state statute, the hearing authority doesn't have to be the planning commission. It's a person or persons appointed by the town council. So if you are to adopt it under section 1, you're amending it. You're removing the planning commission. You're going to appoint 3 people. The person will serve for an indefinite term without regard to political affiliation, and may resign or be removed at any time. And any reference to the hearing authority from this point forward would be to those 3 members, not to the planning commission. And that 2 of them voting together is good enough. I wish that would take place. And it's submitted here. I've got it set up to be passed on first reading, and then passed and adopted on second and final if you want to do that tonight. But that language is contemplating that you might, don't be pressured to. Our ordinances require 2 readings. Be adopted on first reading tonight and tabled for a future meeting, or if you're certain this is something you want to do, you can suspend the rules and adopt it tonight.
Make a motion on the first reading. I'll make a motion that on 2015-1, we accept it.
Okay. You second that, Lisa? Okay. Discussion? Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
I know we need a motion to suspend the rules to consider and adopt 2015-01 second final reading.
Make the motion.
To suspend the rules. And there's a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of suspending the rules? Okay. Now we are going to have the motion to accept it at second reading.
2015 on second and final reading following suspension.
I need a cheat sheet.
No, you're doing great. It's just exactly the way to do it.
Okay.
That's exactly the way to do it.
Okay.
Make a motion that we accept ordinance 2015-1 on second reading.
Second reading.
I'll second.
Okay, you'll second that. All those in favor say aye. All same sign. Okay, motion carries.
Now, then the next step is to appoint 3 persons to this committee, and you can do that tonight. If you don't, I don't know how we're going to do any business, because we won't have it. But if it's something you need to consider for a bit, we might want to try to convene briefly to appoint those 3. Because I think we have some unsafe building matters out there. And we need to be able to get those, we need to be able to move those forward.
What do you guys say? Mr. Abbott, are you willing to serve on that? Sure. Okay. Mr. Bowman, are you willing to serve on that committee? Mr. Smith, are you willing to serve on that committee?
Yes.
Anybody have any questions or comments?
So we would have a motion appointing Walter Abbott, Jeff Downey,
discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. Motion carries. And then, the way that I understand that, if this will work, it's still with Jim Geyer. And if there is a need for an unsettled development hearing, it's called within, it can be 48 hours or more, right? As long as it's noticed, so 48 hours are out, okay?
Yeah.
So
And I think, I don't know how this is going to go exactly, but I think there's going to be a need for you all to meet regularly. I don't know that there's going to be a need for you to have scheduled meetings every month at the same time. But we probably just need to coordinate a little bit with schedules and see when good meeting times are. And they need to be at times when it's convenient for people who need to attend, that they'll be there too. And then, maybe we say to Tim Geyer, if he's going to write an order, that we coordinate maybe with Becky on that order coming through, and that if we have an order, or an order is going to be issued, we need to set a meeting 10 days out, find out what will work, then Tim needs to put that date in that order, and how it goes, so that the property owner knows when the hearing is going to be. If we see there's going to be a great volume of cases, you may get to the point where you have regular meetings. My hope is it goes the other way. I hope that, we're going to have a run on these things, and things are going to kind of start to make some sense, and then it's going to settle down a little bit. But I don't know that you need to set up a meeting schedule right now, and we need to communicate to Tim that this has changed too, so he communicates differently with you when he sees there's a need for a hearing to be held. The cases like a demolition, we have to hold a hearing, whether the property owner wants one or not. If he orders the home to be demolished, then he has to schedule a hearing for that. In those cases, we have to set it up. In another case, where it's an order requiring something less than that, a cleanup or a repair or something, the property owner has to do it, unless the property owner requests a hearing. If the property owner requests a hearing, then at that point, you can simply say, we've had a request for a hearing, and we schedule it based on the property owner's request. So it's also driven a little bit by what the order is and what it requires. We'll just feel our way through it, I think.
One thing too to note is that the two demolitions that we did have, that the town spending money, we received all funds, did not cost the town a dime. Both of those have been paid in full. Tax money.
That's a good and surprising result.
It did not waste a dime. It didn't cost any money.
You hope always you get the money at some point, but it's pretty unusual for us to collect the money as fast as we did on those two. So that worked out really well.
Exactly. Good. Okay.
Thanks.
Any other new business, old business, anything for the good? Public comment? Mr. Seaster? No? You don't have a fire contract tonight? No? Okay. Usually in January, February. Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn? Okay, let's go forward.